and I have like these housewives who I don't know be like, who are you?
And I think it's a really funny image of like setting your phone up against the driveway to record, and then you just kind of running back and yeah.
Welcome back to the Hardpoint. My name is Josh. I go by Onexpunchxdad online.
My name is Cody. I go by Cody Roams.
And this is episode 15, baby.
The Patrick Mahomes episode.
The Patrick how apropos, how studious.
Not a big fan,
man.
But
I know.
It would not make sense.
That's probably
to
not a happy declaration for you, but good for them.
Good for them. You know, last time I forgot that when I was kind of like poo-pooing on the Chiefs or whatever, I meant to say I forgot that you got like a kind of a semi-buddy on the Chiefs, so maybe we shouldn't go in too hard on them, you know?
Hey, man, it's all sports. It's not personal. It's just it's sports. It's sports, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know less about sports. I don't know. Like, I am whatever level of sports enjoyment is, I hope both teams win. I'm like one notch above that. I'm just out there happy that everyone's having a good time. So, yeah, you know, it's low threat for me.
Sounds like my wife. We'll be watching sports, and she's just like, can both teams win?
I will say I can I'm in the tier of I can feel passionate that a team will win, but I do not hate a team. Like I just cannot find it within me to be like, I hate the Eagles or whatever. I don't know. Can't do it.
My mother-in-law bought our daughter that's not born yet a little onesie that's a Kansas City Chiefs onesie.
Oh no!
And I'm now walking the tightrope of, you know, thanks, but no thanks. You know how to pull that one off.
You know, so here's what you do, because I've had people buy me real ugly baby clothes. You put the baby in the clothes. Okay. You take one picture.
Okay.
And you send it to the person that gave it to you and said he or she loves it, and then you burn it or donate it, whatever.
That's great advice. That's great advice.
That's the only box that you have to check with the gifting of a piece of shit kid's outfit.
That
I
could
hope
be
your
serving.
mother-in-law never watches this.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Please don't start supporting me now. This could serve more than just me. If anybody out there is listening, you know, they might be glad they tuned into the Hardpoint tonight. You know,
as a father of four, you can take that to the bank as a pro tip. One picture, ditch the outfit.
Good tip. Thanks for that. How was your weekend?
It was good, man. I had a long weekend thanks to the holiday and whatnot. I have been inside most of it. I did go hiking. I haven't been hiking in a long time, but I went hiking on Friday morning with a coworker of mine. It was really nice, man. We went out to the bluffs out here, kind of a little mountain range in Oklahoma where I'm at. And we ended up having a good time. I don't naturally gravitate towards hiking because it literally is just walking around on uneven ground.
It's like the scenic version of just walking.
It is. It really is, man. And it honestly, it hit me in a really good way. And I thought I could get down on this a little more often than I do right now, which is zero. But yeah, I might become an occasional hiker.
You know, where do you stand on just like the walk, like the morning or the afternoon walk around your neighborhood, just for the sake of getting your steps in?
Just a little jaunt, jaunts around the neighborhood. I love it. Yeah, we've got I would say a very well sidewalked neighborhood, so it lends itself to a decent walk. You know, yeah, I'm pro.
Okay, yeah, we're kind of big on just like getting out, getting in this. Like earlier today, I worked all day, and this evening, my wife was like, "I think you need some sunshine. You look like you've been indoors all day." And I just went and took a nice day. It's a little depressing when you step outside for kind of the first time like that evening, and you realize how nice of a day it is, and you're like, I've been in a cave all day long.
Exactly.
Not taking advantage of this nice day.
I will say, as a little aside, I got straight up like started up a new hobby this weekend. I'll talk about it in a little bit. But I spent most of my time in this office, which is a pretty dope space. I'm not gonna lie, but it's meant to be dark at all times of the day. It's where we shoot the podcast when Cody comes to me. So I have 2 windows in this office, but you'd never know because I have blackout curtains over those windows and basically a black shroud. You can kind of see some of it there.
No light getting through there.
No light. Like it is at all times of the day. It is 8:30 p.m. It is just real dark all the time. Not a great place to spend the waking hours for 6-7 hours a day, honestly, because I did what you did. I spent my entire day in here and went outside, and it was like stepping off onto a different fucking planet.
It's like a strip club. You have no idea what it's going to look like outside when you walk out.
I did the just like the ugly squint when I walked out, man. It was pretty jarring. But yeah, I get down on a good walk. You know, my wife and I will take a little just a little skip and a hop around the block.
You know, they say just walking is a good form. Like, you might not think it, but a decent form of exercise. Just getting your steps. Like, a lot of people say walking for an hour will do you better than running because it's kind of less hard on you, and you know, it's kind of like that slow burn versus the more intense workout.
The impact of running it's really started to hit me. I do like to run. I think a blanket truth is that I like to run. I like, when I'm feeling good, it feels good to run. But man, oh man, the after effects. You want to talk about just a bone hangover? You know what I mean? A joint hangover.
Yeah.
You know, joints, my knees and my ankles about 10 hours after a run are like, we should not have done that.
No, I'm the worst type of runner. I'm the one that like every 6 months decides I want to start running, and I get past the, like, you know, when you run for the first time in a long time and the next day, like you just said, everything hurts. Your ankles hurt, your knees hurt, your legs hurt. And then you kind of get past that initial like growing pains of running, and you get to a good point. And then I quit. And then 6 months later, I decide, hey, I'm going to start running. And it's kind of like an endless loop through the worst part of running. I don't know why I don't stick with it. It sounds like a good idea, and maybe I'm just trying to force something there, but I don't really have bad knees either. My knees have never really hurt. This last time, my lower back was hurting after I would get done running, which after a little bit of Googling, you get a variety of answers, but a few of them said bad form, which I think is interesting because I think a lot of people just think that you just run. Like, there's not necessarily the right way to run. You just kind of run, and you can go down quite the deep wormhole of like the right way to run, like the correct technique of running. I think people probably think that.
And being like an offshoot of fitness, like, it's so hard to get a straight answer on what is right in fitness. It's the same with running, man. It's like, you have to kind of like take everything with like a grain of salt. I hate saying that, but like, for me, the things that I have found that work for me are making sure my insoles are correct. I have very high arches, and so I have had to wear insoles for the last, I want to say 10 years. And it helps. Yeah. Helps for shock absorption. And then just making sure like literally just the way my foot hits the ground is
I think like many things, the way that I think I look and the way that I probably actually look are two different things. And so like you can't see yourself running. And I think it's a really funny image of like setting your phone up against the driveway to record, and then you just kind of running back and
And it's not like lifting weights. Like lifting weights, you've got mirrors normally. If your gym is run by sane people, you've got mirrors. So you can check your form and make sure, like, okay, my back is straight. I'm not arching my neck. You know, I'm getting the proper movement of the muscle. With running, you're just like, do you ever like, you're running down the sidewalk maybe on an outdoor run, and you like try to peep yourself in the reflection in people's windshields or anything like that? You're just like, it looks good.
Maybe the shadow. Do you ever look behind you at your shadow, hoping like maybe?
Yeah. And then you get like a cop pulls up and like, yeah, we got reports of some guy looking in everyone's windows in their cars. Is that you?
I don't know. It's either that or like,
man.
Yeah, or getting somebody to come out and record you running up and down the street, which is equally weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that gets into a weird like territory of just being embarrassed that I'm not prepared to go to, I think.
I'll wait for the street to clear out before we shoot this real quick.
Yeah. All right, we're good. Go.
I'm currently in if my running journey looks like an infinite this, I'm currently somewhere here at the bottom.
One of those lower lobes, yeah. It happens, man.
I did
part of getting old.
Did something interesting this weekend.
Yeah? Spill it.
I went to a Western themed murder mystery party.
Oh man. Please, for the love of God, tell me you were an active participant.
I was. Involuntarily, I was.
Oh man. Did you get into character?
Not really.
Come on.
No.
Dutch,
I knew you would be disappointed. As somebody who likes to dress up and get in character, I couldn't be more opposite of that.
I would be full-blown a cowpoke for a night.
I actually thought about you a lot that night because I was like, he would be quite ashamed. Have you ever done a murder mystery party or been to one?
I have not. Criminally, I have not.
Okay. I will say, didn't want to do it. Didn't want to. If you know me for 5 minutes, you know that I generally don't like people even noticing me. Like, just I don't know. Look that way.
At face value, it sounds like a party with homework.
So that's the thing. He sent everybody like here's your character, here's your backstory, memorize it basically. But he sent it like 3 days before the party, so not a lot of heads up.
It was homework. There's a read ahead.
Yes. And do you think I read it before I actually got to the party? And so to dress up, I don't have anything cowboy, dude. Nothing. I was trying to think of somebody like a buddy or a friend that I could borrow a cowboy hat or cowboy boots from. And I don't even have cowboy friends. Like, I just don't know. So she went to Walmart, Target. Turns out they don't sell cowboy hats or cowboy boots.
Right.
And so she got me, it was like a kind of a button-up shirt, cowboy-ish, Western-ish. Some $12 jeans from Walmart that are like Wrangler-esque. And when I tell you these things were a boot cut, we're talking about a leg opening about yay big.
Wow.
And I didn't have any boots, so all I had to wear were my Vans. And if you haven't ever seen Vans with boot cut jeans, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. I felt ridiculous. And the worst part was I didn't know anybody here. So it was a birthday party. And Taylor is friends with the birthday girl. And I know the boyfriend. We've hung out a few times. But I don't know anybody else there. There's going to be like 16 or 18 people there. And so I feel ridiculous. I look ridiculous. I'm not prepped for my character. We're going to this party where I don't know anybody. And I will say, I didn't want to go at all. I would have paid money not to go. But walking out of there, I had a good little old time, dude. I had a good little old time. Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me about your character?
So I was Alexander James. I was a gambler. Dude, I almost shaved my mustache into the handlebar, dude. I really wish I would have, but I don't know. I didn't. I get nervous doing that for some reason.
Brilliant.
And so...
You get nervous shaving your mustache? Or leaning too far into the character of
that
you're supposed to be?
I know shaving your beard is a very not permanent thing, but I'm just worried about doing it and then hating it and then being like, I don't know. I know it's stupid. It's a dumb... I
feel like in the world of AI, you could like Chat GPT, remove the beard, and it would just give you a glimpse. Yeah. See, I don't think it would look bad at all, man.
I like the handlebar. Somebody else that lives in my house does not like the handlebar. So.
Got it. Yeah.
That's why I don't have.
That's why I don't have a mustache. 100%.
So Alexander James, and it was a mingle thing. So you had your character, and I felt better because nobody really prepped. Everybody had their phones out, and like the point was to go around asking people, but most people would be like, okay, hold on, let me look, because nobody like memorized their character. But you just walked around and questioned people, and you would get little nuggets of information, and that would lead you to that guy, and everybody had name tags on, and you're just trying to get to like the bottom of this mystery. Right. And that's about all I can explain. It was fun. I had a lot of fun by the end of it. When we left, I was like, you know what? I didn't want to do that. I'm glad I did that. I don't know if I'd do it again. I don't want to go overboard. I kind of crossed that off the list and, maybe not revisit it, but it was cool.
I'm proud of you, man. Okay, let me tell you this. We had a laugh.
Don't be too proud.
My life was threatened. Before we did the podcast, like maybe weeks before we did the podcast even, it was Halloween, and I got similarly drugged to a party, which I was told would be a Halloween party. And so I'm thinking like, well, I like dressing up, and this is like probably my best shot. And so I dressed up. I did like makeup and all that stuff, and I got into costume, and we show up at this party, and I'm the only guy that dressed up. And I was so fucking mad about that I look at my wife, I was like, I'll be back. Left, went home, changed, and came back in regular street clothes. Not happy about it.
Dude.
So I will tell you, going to a party, especially a party where you don't know anyone there, all we want to do as men is fly under the radar. That's all we want. If you are bringing I feel like that is probably the most blanket generalist statement I could make that is absolutely 90% true from person to person.
Right.
If you're dragging a man to a party where he does not know more than two people, let him put a hoodie on and stand in the corner until the party is over. That should be true for every man.
I think so. Well, and it's tough to gauge, like, the way things work. If I went all out with the costume, it's going to be one of those situations. Nobody else dressed up.
Yeah.
But if I go soups cash, thinking everybody's not going to take it that seriously, I'm going to be the only one not in full cowboy gear. It's the way the world works. And so finding where you want to land on that scale is really tough.
Won't do it. I won't chase the window. Like if there's like, are you doing too much or you're not doing enough? It's like, I don't want to do it at all. Suddenly I want to go home. No one makes me do stuff there.
A mingle murder mystery with 20 people that don't know each other is, maybe I was the only one that didn't know anybody. Maybe everybody else knew. I don't know. It was an interesting concept that ended up being not bad. Back to your story. Didn't you say that? I think your exact words were you wanted to evaporate, which stood with me. I thought that's really funny.
I did, man. You want to talk about feeling so uncomfortable. And I was like, it wasn't like I was like the Scream guy. I dressed up as Snake from Snake Eater.
Right.
So I was in like full blown like anime military regalia, whatever. And I have like these housewives who I don't know be like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm no one that you are not cool enough to know, even if I explain it, who I am. And it made me so mad, dude. I was just like,
didn't some guy, I was like, so what are you?
Yeah. I really wanted to do the meme of the black kid who just like dips. Like, just, yes, I would, yeah. I don't know, man. It is really like, it was a like eye-opening moment of like, yeah, maybe my party-going years are numbered.
Well, and on our way out, hearkening all the way back to our episode 3, where we're talking about leaving a party with people, and how do you attack the goodbye? I'll tell you how I attacked it. We personally told the birthday girl and the guy who threw the whole thing goodbye, and then gave a general wave to everybody. Yeah.
Adios.
Bye-bye, people, and dipped.
Yeah. So you didn't do an Irish goodbye.
No. What's just one notch above? I said goodbye, but y'all get one. You can share this one.
Did anyone try to like hail you back? Like, oh, you guys are leaving?
No, we didn't dip early. Like the party had ran its course. I'm sure some people stayed longer, but like we did what we were supposed to do.
Yeah. I'm not. I asked that. I'm never cool enough that people when I'm leaving are like, "Oh, you're leaving?
Dang it, man! I wanted you to say.
Yeah. Normally, I'm like, "All right, guys, I gotta go." They're like, "Yeah, makes sense. Leave."
I don't see that. You're the party monster, bro.
I don't know, man. I've lost my touch. I don't know if I'm the party monster anymore.
Well,
I'm getting pretty tame these days.
Yeah, you and I both. Tell me about this purchase you just made.
Yeah, we got a new car. So my wife, I'll tee this up because you know cars a lot better than I do. You've worked with cars before.
Sure.
You, at one point, were straight up just like recreationally making car content, which is very cool. But I admittedly know very little about cars. So we're not really like a car-centric family. We just kind of have cars that work for us.
Sure.
My wife has been driving around a 2012 Chevy Traverse, which you would not think a 12-year-old car should be falling apart the way it is. But with 4 kids and having driven that thing literally coast to coast, we bought it in Washington. We've driven it all the way to Florida and back several times in there.
How many miles?
This thing is a Haas. I think it's sitting at maybe 120, 130.
Okay, that's not even as much as I was gonna guess, honestly.
Well, for Chevy, I feel like sadly, I feel like that's kind of getting up there. Like, that's a lot of miles. You know, you get like a Toyota, which is what we got today.
Right.
You expect that one to go, it should be like sniffing 200 by the end of its lifespan, at least. You know what I mean? So we got it. We went to the dealership today. It's kind of sad, but we had the day to ourselves because the kids were at camp. Okay. And we went to the dealership, and it was honestly, we might have set the course record, man. I don't know why, but every time I've been a party to a purchase of a vehicle, it is a 9-hour affair for some reason.
It's usually like an all day, minimum half a day.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not, and I will say this, I'm not going to name them per se, but the dealership we went to had a nice, clean waiting room. They offered us water, and they were very expeditious, and they weren't skeezy about it at all, which I really appreciated. I have literally been on car lots. Like I say, been on car lots. I've driven onto a car lot, and I have looked in my rear view mirror as I'm parking, and the dudes like vultures are already coming out. Yeah. To greet me. I don't want that. If you're a car salesman and you're listening to this, don't do that to me. That makes me want to get in my car and leave and buy my car somewhere else. It makes me so uncomfortable. This dude, we walked into the place, and he was in there, and he was like, "Hey, how can we help y'all?" I was like, "Hey, we're looking for this." He said, "Oh, okay. Well, let me go see what we got." It was very low threat this time, and I appreciated that because the idea of being a car dealership makes me so fucking makes me nervous. I don't know.
Few questions. Did you get it brand new, or did you go pre?
No, we went pre. I don't know. Again, like, what is a new car? But just loses value as soon as it comes off the lot. I don't know. It's
nothing more.
There would be that satisfaction of knowing like this is blank slate, and ideally we would drive this until the wheels fall off or it start to fall off anyway. But no, we went pre.
Okay, good choice. Did you walk in there knowing what you wanted, or did you like describe the type of car and they're like, "How about this one?"
We had a few models in mind. We weren't necessarily like drilled down on it needs to be a blankety blank, but we said, here's what we have. We like what we have, but it's falling apart. So we would like maybe a new one of those or these that are similar. And then we kind of laid down like our, like, it must have this, it must have this, it must have this.
Nice.
So.
Did your kids get excited? Do they care about that type of thing?
Yeah, the kids were actually a big drive. So really funny, actually. The kids love Mr. Beast. And
Yeah.
Mr. Beast, I don't know if he has a deal with Toyota or something, but he's constantly giving away Toyotas. He drives a Toyota, I guess. They're in his videos a lot. And so by purchasing a Toyota, we showed that we were very, very hip and cool parents. So just want you to know that.
That's pretty cool. I remember being younger, and like when my parents would get a new car, or buy or sell a car, it was like a huge thing. And I remember getting
it's a family affair. Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of being like sad that the old ones, you know, when they're taking the old one, but then here comes the new one around the corner, and you're just like, I remember it being like a really cool event.
Yeah. Yeah, we so my wife's old car, again, like I said, it's still hanging in there. It's still really it's got problems, but it still works, you know what I mean? And she, even before we went to the dealership, was like, we don't need to do this. I was like, well, I want, she didn't even have Bluetooth. She literally still has to aux in to listen to music in that car.
Oh boy.
But yeah, we have some friends of ours. I know, yeah. She's getting brought into the future finally. We got some friends who are in a one-car situation that I think we're going to give her car to, just to kind of, if it, maybe even just get him through to the next season. So in lieu of a trade-in, we just put some money down, and we're going to take her old car and pass it on to someone who needs it.
Nice. That's something will come back to you for doing that. Things go in and go out.
Well, even if that thing is a handshake or a pat on the back, I'm good with that. So
nice. Well, congratulations on the new car. That's really exciting.
Yeah. It's weird how, like, when you get a new car, people will say, "Oh, congratulations." Like, I didn't accomplish anything. I just went and supported capitalism. That's all I did. But yeah, no, it feels good. Like, there is a sense of satisfaction. We were able to do it stress-free, which was a good feeling. It's a lot of times in the past where we were getting into a car. It was a need. It's always a need if we're at the dealership. It's never a like, hey, we'll just get some nice wheels.
Right.
But it felt good to be able to go and to not feel like we're gonna have to like eat ramen for a couple weeks to cover this down payment or something. So
did you play hardball with them? Tell them no deal.
We really didn't have to.
Nice.
Like, for what the car is worth, made sense. It was we test drove it and we're like, hey, yeah, let's look at what the numbers are. He walked away and we and Leanne were sitting there and we were like, we didn't even ask him how much this car is, because they don't write it in fucking grease
when did
pen
that stop?
on the windshield. I don't know, dude. I even went out and like they had a QR code. I tried to scan it and open it up. Wouldn't open up. So I was like, fuck, this could be $100,000 car I'm trying to get into now.
That's how they get you. Got to get you indoors.
That's how they get you.
Get you at the desk.
Yeah. But no, when he came back, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I bet that car is this much. And he came back and it was within probably about $2,000. So
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, didn't fight him on it too much. I got recognized in the lobby, and that kind of made kind of a little tiny commotion.
All right.
And so, I was like, hey, Slick, what's going on?
What's up, sport?
Yeah. Hey, Tiger. But no, they came back with, numbers that we were pretty good with. Found out my credit score's doing really great. So that's,
all right.
That's a little, I'll take congratulations on that one for sure. Yeah.
I was going to ask if you got the one punch special, the discount.
I don't know if I did. They definitely didn't tee it up that way. I probably didn't, but hey, you gotta maintain good credit, and everyone gets it. So
there you go. You can have your own one punch discount with good credit.
Yeah, there you go. Is that like the what's that dude? The what's it? The dude who had the burger? I can never remember people's names when we're podcasting. God damn it, Tyler, the create? No, not Tyler, the creator. Who had the burger? You know what I'm talking about?
Not follow the burger. What do you mean the burger?
No, there was a rapper. Hold on. There's a rapper that. Hold on. I'm literally Googling rapper with burger. The Travis Scott burger. Thank God. Travis Scott had a burger, man. Do you remember that? That could be my thing. The one punch burger.
The one punch Toyota.
I don't know that I would have a burger though. I would be like ultimate nachos.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. That's like my favorite appetizer, I think. Just tortilla chips with a bunch of bullshit on them.
Hell yeah. Can't go wrong with that.
No.
Well,
we're normally taking a break, but we don't need to.
no. Interstitial?
Yeah. Everybody sucks. Anus.
All right. It is time for our official second edition of Ob-SESH-on.
Obsession.
Some high value
bitch.
high value production right there. Ob-SESH-on. So if you've been following us from at least episode 3, you know that we debuted a segment called Ob-SESH-on, with the sesh being SESH. And our first edition was Vagrant Holiday. And boy, did we get some content out of that. So
Took off.
It really did. Bar was set kind of high. Now, we've had a few people comment and ask, when is Ob-SESH-on coming back? And the thing about obsession can't be forced. Obsession simply shows up when it wants to. And it's very apparent when it is obsession.
It's got to be organic. It's got to be real.
It's got to be organic. And, you know, since that episode, I've been trying to find the next thing, but you really can't find it. Obsession just washes over you. Before you know it, it surrounds you. It's here.
It's like love.
Yeah. And
love.
so I think you might know where I'm going with this. I haven't explicitly told Josh what I'm about to say, but I want to discuss Sleep Token today.
I'm excited to see how deep you went with this, man.
I want to discuss Sleep Token. Now, I guess I'll just start by kind of describing what it is. There it is. So Sleep Token is a band.
Right.
Relatively new. They formed in 2016. I don't think I really saw them, but within the last 6 months or so. They seem to have blown up really big, like on social media. I've seen them on TikTok, on YouTube. And it's a band who, if you're listening and you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and pull them up, get a visual. But they wear these costumes. They all have these masks on. They wear like these black robes. And they're supposedly all anonymous, right? Like nobody knows who each of these members are. I got to be honest. I completely wrote this band off from like the moment I first saw them until probably, last weekend when I was down there with you. I got to give you all the credit. You were the reason I turned the corner on this band. I wrote this band off because what I was seeing and what I was hearing was not jiving. Since I've spent more time with this band, they sound totally different now. But like the initial impressions are like the vocals I couldn't get past. When you look like that, and then you have this, I don't even know how to describe the vocal. Like I described it to you last weekend like a 5-finger death punch vocal, which I just do not find cool at all. I'd like to take that back. It's not like that at all.
Redacted.
It just, what I was seeing and hearing, it wasn't jiving. And so I didn't give them a second thought. I've had people recommend them to me. I've heard them talked about. They're all over social media. And I completely wrote them off. Last weekend, I'm in Josh's car. We're headed to the gym. And he plays this song called Chokehold, which is the newest song off their newest, or the first song off their newest album. And it kind of grabbed me. When it first started playing, I saw the artist was Sleep Token. I kind of went, I think we had a brief conversation about it. It grabbed me, though. By the end of that song, I was like, man, that was a really, really cool song. And so I started to kind of listen to some other songs on that album. And I'm obsessed with them, dude. Their music is incredible. And I want to share with you 3 reasons that make Sleep Token different. But before I do that, I would like to hear your thoughts. Where are you at with this band? Have I brought them more on you since you brought them upon me initially? Like, where are you at with Sleep Token right now?
So, right off the bat, yeah, absolutely. We tend to feed off each other's enjoyment of a thing.
Sure.
That's always been true, right? We have that kinship to where I might get into one thing and be insistent, and you're like, I don't know. Oh yeah, I really like it. Actually, I really, really like that. And then together we both realize, like, oh, we're both kind of fucking super fans of that one thing.
Right.
I feel that happening right now. So Sleep Token, I distinctly remember seeing some buzz about them. This was probably, man, this had to have been like last spring, almost a year ago, maybe when this album just came out.
It did come out 23, so that's probably correct.
Okay, so it couldn't have been long after it came out. Anyway, I'm getting to the point. Chokehold's the first song on that CD, or the album CD. What's a CD anymore? I listened to that, really liked that, and then the shift from that song to the next 2 or 3 songs is so abrupt.
Yeah.
In the shift in style, it goes a completely different direction than what you think it's going to go. And add to that, these guys don't sound the way they look. I went from being kind of psyched, having listened to Chokehold, to bouncing off of them immediately and being like, actually, I don't like this.
Yes.
Never mind that I only made it like 3 songs in. Fast forward to a couple months ago is when I was in North Carolina, and I actually saw someone doing a vocal cover. It was actually the dude from Lorna Shore, believe it or not. The crazy pig squeal dude,
I think
right?
I've seen that thumbnail. I haven't listened to it, but that video was floating around. Yeah.
Yeah. Will Ramos from Lorna Shore covering the intro vocal to Chokehold. And I was like, he does a good job, actually. He's known for his, like, like
right.
crazy, I didn't know he could sing. But I was like, that's kind of a heater. And I was like, oh, it's Sleep Token. I feel like I bounced off of them really bad.
Right.
So I went back to that song, and it was for 2 days straight.
Yeah.
Nothing but.
Yeah.
Had it locked in my brain, man. And now I'm back on some Sleep Token shit, man. That's pretty much where I'm at. Like, ever since you were here last weekend and were like willing to give them a second chance, it made me want to do a deeper dive.
Yeah.
And enjoy some of their other tracks that, again, don't sound like Chokehold, but are also really fucking good.
Funny enough, I did a little bit of like a rabbit hole dive, seeing if anybody knew who they were. And I don't want to make that about this because we've already been accused of doxing Vagrant Holiday. We're going to become the doxing podcast. It's not that.
The doxers, yeah.
So I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I love Sleep Token and why I think they're different. So the first one is kind of a blanket. They are unique in that, like, the way that they look, the way that they sound, I feel like they're making really unique, different sounding music. Now, in a world where a lot of the stuff can kind of sound the same, or if it sounds different and sets itself apart, it might just not be that good. So there's a difference between, like, you can be unique, but to be unique and different and good, I think is a totally different thing. There's a ton of variation with them. They have some crazy heavy, like, scream parts. They have some, like, extremely light-hearted, almost like, I don't even know how to describe it, just like really light, like cheery songs and parts in songs. They have parts where there's like beats and he's almost kind of rapping over it, which sounds really gimmicky, but doesn't ever come across that way. So I think just in general, their uniqueness as far as the way they look, the way they sound, and then the variation that they bring. Just like you said, Chokehold moves into a different song that sounds completely different, that then moves into another song that sounds completely different. And this whole album kind of has a certain vibe and a certain sound. You can tell it's all Sleep Token, but each song has it's such an individual, like, journey and experience and vibe that I think that's one of the main reasons what they bring to it.
I agree. So I'm doing as you're talking here, because this is something that I'm gonna drop this in our Discord chat so you can look at as I talk about it here. So one thing I didn't realize about this band, and you know, like I said, at first glance, I think both of us were. You look at this band and you're expecting maybe something Slipknot adjacent.
Yes.
You know, they look intense. They've got, you know, they're all their skin is covered in this like almost like oily, greasy black paint. Their skin that you can see anyway. The rest of them is they're wearing kind of robes and masks and stuff like that. Anyway, the band has like this whole pantheon of lore, I guess. Like, so I'm looking at right now, I'm sharing with Cody. I know for our audio listeners, this may not be as rewarding.
Is it the runes?
Yes. So all throughout their music videos, their album art, their actual costumes, their regalia that they wear, they have symbols and characters, almost like hieroglyphs, kind of all steeped throughout that stuff. And it is a coded language that I guess, and I'm talking about this from a very low level of understanding, but they have an entire like codex of lore running all throughout their stuff. So all of their work presumably is conceptual, and it's, you know, it's unique that you talked about all of their songs being different, but also kind of laying out this concept as a whole. Even with just the album. I really want to dive deeper into this, and I know a lot of this is probably known. It's not known to us, right?
We're pretty new to this, pretty new to the party.
Exactly. And I want to be abundantly clear. I think this is so fucking cool, man. I love it. I love that we live in the age of like a simple thing becoming a whole MCU.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the idea that this band was like, we could just be a band.
Right.
Or
we could be more.
We could be Lord of the Rings and heavy metal. Like, I'm all
really
about
cool.
that.
Apparently, so I watched a video. Sleep is apparently like a god or a goddess or something like that. So it's, the whole thing is about like, the lead singer's name is Vessel, right?
Right.
So apparently it's something to do with like, he is the vessel from this god or goddess named Sleep that is bringing music and people together to like whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I don't fully understand it. There's a lot there though. There's more than just the music. And I think that's why, I don't know, they have like replay value. You know, it's not just a song. There's so much to go along with it. That's really cool. I don't, you kind of just broke that to me. I didn't know that they had that whole, all that to it.
Goes deep, bro.
It does.
Goes
There's so
deep.
much about this band. So number 2,
Okay.
the musicianship is insane, dude. I sent you that video of like the drum cover. I'm not a drummer. I don't know. I know that's fucking crazy though. I've watched it 20 times. I can't get enough of that video. It's awesome, dude. Like the crossovers, I don't know what he's doing. And you pointed out he's doing it in a mask. That snare be popping.
Yeah.
Like there's so many cool things about the drumming. And that's just one aspect. Just kind of stay on the
just
drumming.
across the band, man. Across the band, there's like intense devotion to musicianship.
Yes.
The Vessel's vocal capability is. At first, I see why people kind of get like a. I think, you know, a Five Finger Death Punch vibe out of it.
Yeah.
But if you spend some time with it, you realize, no, this dude can fucking croon, bro.
Yes. And he can do like the high pitch kind of falsetto stuff. He can do some screams. Something that sticks out about him to me is like the emotion that you hear in his voice. Like it is not flat and dry and boring. Like he just brings such a feeling and emotion to these lyrics. The lyrics are awesome, I think. There's several parts where it's like a chorus or even just like a little hook that I find myself singing with it or rapping with it, like it's really fun stuff. And you're right. His voice is unreal.
And a lot of the like, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Well, I was going to say a lot of the way that some of the like verses are structured melodically almost have kind of a modern, like a Post Malone vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he will kind of rap sing a verse in a way that's like, dude, and it will sound at first glance, it's like, this is just a song about like relationship problems and like talks about like heartache and pain in relationships and stuff like that. But then you kind of like juxtapose that with this crazy like, oh, and also there's this sleep goddess, all kinds of like what else is going on here? But yeah, it's very like, it just feels very current music.
I totally agree. I would say, the guitars, how big of a player would you say they are? Like a lot of the stuff you and I listen to, the guitars are kind of like the driving factor behind a lot of these bands and music. I don't feel like they're quite as present with this band. They're there, but it's not like the thing that's bringing me to these songs. Do you feel that way or do you disagree?
I do, but I also like the way they're building these songs. It's less, I feel like in a metal band, the guitars are straight. That's the machine gun on top of the Humvee, right? That is just, that's your primary weapon system, right? With this band, it's all, like every instrument, to include the vocal sections, all feel like a smaller piece of a bigger orchestra.
Yes.
And so, like, when they use guitars, like Chokehold's a prime example of, the first time we hear a guitar, it's a pretty simple part, but it thumps so fucking loud and it's so like just visceral sounding. It's literally just like open note and then like a bent octave chord, like do, and they do this kind of weird siren thing with it almost. They don't do anything crazy with guitars, but when an instrument is featured, whether it's the drums or the guys singing, or they're going to let the guitar kind of like take it away, it's amazing.
That is a great way to put it. It's like they're all just a piece of this one thing that you hear. It's not it's not even like individual layers. It's just one sound coming at you that is built by multiple individual pieces. But a lot of times you don't even hear like this from that. It's one thing with all these, a lot of depth to it. I love it. Back to the drums for a quick moment. You and I are guitar guys, but I think we've always had a love for like, if a song or a band's got some badass drums in it, dude, like you and I will get down with that. And
love good drums.
This dude can shred, bro. He's got the snare taps. He's got, I don't even know what all the terminology is, but it's intoxicating, like watching and listening to this dude drum. It's awesome.
Absolutely. There is like one of the only interviews that any of them have ever given, any of them, has been a solitary interview with the drummer talking about his inspiration for his drum style. He actually talks about, it's kind of an unlikely source, but highly inspired by like the British underground EDM scene being kind of like a driver for a lot of his stylings, which I think is really cool. I think that's a really not typical. You would think, any metal band's going to be like, oh, I really love Neil Peart. Oh, okay, cool. So does everyone else, But yeah, man, I just like, there's a solidness and a tightness in his playing for sure that I just love tight drums, man.
Good sounding drums. If it sounds thick and punchy, like,
properly tuned, properly maintained heads, like, fresh set of sticks. Why not, man?
That's awesome. I didn't know that was his kind of some of his, what's the word? Like what he looks up to, looks back to.
His inspiration. Yeah.
They got a lot of kind of like electronic drums, parts that sound like it was made by a computer. I'm convinced he's still like he's still playing that, dude.
It all works together. There's so many things there stylistically that probably shouldn't work together. There's one song I really like. I think it's 3 or 4 on this latest album called Aqua Regia.
Aqua Regia, yeah. Aqua Regia.
Yeah. That one is one of the more poppy sounding songs, but there is just this like fluidity to it that no actual pop song has. I wish more pop music sounded like this, to be honest.
That one's got a lot of like keys in it. Almost got like a jazzy part in that song.
And there's so much of this band. Like, we've been on a really big synthwave kick for like our down vibe time. So much of that getting tapped in this. I love that they let kind of over reverberated synth kind of eke in there. They're not using it in any kind of gratuitous way. I think when they use it, it's appropriate, and it really creates a very unique soundscape.
Like that song, The Apparatus or whatever, by the end of it, when the synth is just like going over oh, dude, I was listening to that right before we started recording. It's so cool.
It's a good one, man.
And number 3, my last one. Their song progression is so unique to me, where a lot of songs are like chorus, verse, like you're kind of just doubling back and you hear the same thing, and maybe by the second or third time you're adding layers and building on it. A lot of their songs have a starting point and an ending point, and they don't really like double back or revisit anywhere that they were earlier in that song.
It's like a Simpsons episode.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Like it makes for more of it. Like in racing, I don't know why this makes sense. There's like waypoint racing where it's like A to B, and then there's laps where you're doing the same thing like 3 times. And I feel like a lot of songs are just like the same thing 3 times with a little bit of something thrown in there with each time. This is just, you start somewhere and you end somewhere, and it's like one build.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's really cool. I dig it.
It is, man. And I don't know. I'm all for abandoning the classic verse, chorus, or, verse, chorus,
Right.
refrain, chorus.
Right.
I want to be taken on a journey, right? One of my favorite bands that I found between the years of 2010 and 2019 was The Contortionist.
Mm-hmm.
That just was one of those bands that I felt like they were the kings of taking a little like 2-measure part that was like, this is the best part in the whole album, and they only play it for 2 measures and they never go back to it.
Right.
I feel like that requires such, it sounds weird, but like bravery as a musician to have like, we have this part that is super, super, super good, and we're going to play it one time and abandon it. I am definitely like writing music. I'm like, I'm going to write a good riff and I'm going to play it for 8 fucking bars, baby.
Well,
Sleep
milk
Token,
that thing
very
for
similar.
everything it's got.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're milking it now. No, Sleep Token definitely not doing that. Like, even the things they do return to, they do it in a way that they just don't abuse it. They don't overdo it. They keep it moving when they need to keep it moving.
Yeah.
They do come back and harken back to a motif or a melody when it makes sense.
Like on Chokehold, the second time that they double back to that, it sounds completely different than the first time. They are kind of doubling it.
It does, yeah.
But it sounds totally different. It's not just, kind of doubling back to it. I love them, dude. I am so glad you played that song in that car that day, because they are just like my thing right now. I'm really enjoying them.
It's a good way to warm up for the gym. I will say, I think similar to our Vagrant Holiday obsession, I think we should take a look at this lore. I really am interested.
Okay.
I'm not going to say necessarily do a book report on it, but I would be interested to see like what your 3 or 4 favorite pieces of Sleep Token lore that you uncover would be.
Okay. We can do that. Hopefully I feel like there's something for everybody. You don't have, I wouldn't even classify this as like heavy. I don't know what I'd classify it as. I feel like I could find a song for anybody and everybody, like in that newest album.
It is. It's not, I won't call it a buffet. I feel like a buffet is just like lazy, but it is a family platter sampler platter, a triple dipper, if you will, of there's a little bit of something here for everybody. And I think if you Google Sleep Token and see what they look like, your initial impression is going to be like, this is not for me.
Right.
I challenge you, if you're not one of our heavy music listeners or appreciators, give Sleep Token a second look, man, because we were awfully hard on them the first go around, and we're on a kick. We came back.
If I showed you a picture of them and then played you, "Do you wish that you love me?" You would be like, "This ain't the same band. It's not the same band." Well,
nice,
folks. There you have it. Edition 2 of Ob-SESH-on.
Get obsessed with obsession. Everybody sucks. Anus. Okay. All right, let's do a couple write-ins and we'll wrap it up.
Woo.
All right, I'll read tonight.
Cool.
This one's for you, man. We talked about cars being kind of a quasi theme tonight.
Sure.
Cool Boy, our good old friend Cool Boy 3010. Hello again. I work at an auto parts store. Do you have any stories, horror or otherwise, from your interactions at a parts store? I'm going to kick it to you, man. Uh-oh, he's laughing.
That's a really specific question. At a parts store.
Yeah.
Man, like an auto part, like an AutoZone? Like an O'Reilly's?
Yeah, or O'Reilly's. I feel like most of my interactions at car parts stores have been pretty tame. I have to say, I always go in. If I need help, I ask for help, which is usually every time.
You get what you need and roll
make
out of
my
there.
purchase and make for the door. Yeah, you've probably purchased more niche parts from a car store than I have.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had like a. It's gonna be a really boring answer. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever had like a weird encounter at a parts store. It's such a specific scenario.
I feel like it's an area that should be like, I don't know. It's just like a bunch of like greasy dudes walking around trying to buy car parts. It feels like that environment should lend itself to having some odd encounters.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I gotta say, all my auto part store encounters, if something weird's happened, I blocked it out because nothing's coming to mind.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
sorry,
man,
cool boy.
All right. Yeah, we weren't very cool for our answers on that one.
You stumped us.
All right. Let's see. This one, I didn't pre-read this one. I hope it's not offensive. This one comes from Yosarian Lives. Yosarian I Lives. Thanks for writing in. I hope I said your go-by right. Do you think there are more doors or more wheels in the world? Remember that cars have more than 4 doors, but also think how many wheels each office chair has and how many are in a room, etc. I'm going to say...
What is up with these questions?
I'm going to say there are probably more wheels in the world than doors.
Okay.
Because we've only had cars for, what, like 200 years?
Are we going to count, like think about like a gym, like an LA Fitness, all those doors. Are we counting those as doors? There's 100 doors in one room right there, if not more.
Is a weight a wheel?
No. I don't feel like that's the same thing. A weight like a 45? I don't think so.
Yeah, plate. Some are round. Some could be a wheel.
It's not serving as a wheel function. Like it's not. You're not rolling around on it.
It's not giving wheel.
I think door. Think about a house. Houses don't have wheels, and how many houses are there? There's a door, if not multiple doors per house.
First of all, trailer homes are a thing. Second,
well, okay,
the house may not have wheels. My office chair I'm on right now has casters on it. Those have wheels. Each caster has 2 wheels, in fact.
Are we talking like cabinet doors? Dude, I would guarantee your house has more doors in it than wheels. Count your office chair. It's almost guaranteed.
Hold on. I have a lot of like Hot Wheels cars too, because of my kids, and Lego wheels, and
See, now we're getting down to like Barbie houses,
convertible wheels.
Yeah, like
when is a wheel not a wheel?
I would say those count because they're serving as the function of a wheel.
My house probably has more wheels in it than your house. I admit that. But still, I think there are more wheels in the world. There are certainly more circles in the world.
I'm going to say, maybe even just to be contrarian here, I'm going to say doors. Think about every house. I guess they do have cars, though. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I might say we're at a dead even.
Yeah.
Dead even tie.
Just a 1-to-1 ratio wheel to door.
For every wheel, there is a door.
Thank you. Well, okay, what about how many 18-wheelers do you think? That's one car that has 18 wheels.
That's true.
Rocking and rolling.
That's pretty heavy on the wheel side. Not that many doors. I think, okay.
Only 2 doors.
You've actually convinced me.
I knew it.
I think there might be more wheels. Wow. That's a good one. I wonder what AI would say to that. Should I type that into AI real quick?
Yeah. Ask Chat GPT or AI, whatever. How many?
Here.
What's there's more of?
More wheels or doors in the world? Is that properly worded? Let's see. What is it going to say? The question of whether there are more wheels or doors in the world is a popular debate that doesn't have a definitive answer. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. As it involves estimating the number of items across a vast range of categories globally, both wheels and doors are ubiquitous, found in numerous contexts, including vehicles, buildings, furniture, appliances, industrial machines for wheels, and homes, buildings, vehicles, cabinets, appliances. To form an opinion, consider the following. Wheels. They are not only present in cars, bikes, buses, and trains, but also in countless industrial and household items such as luggage, office chairs, toys, and machinery. The sheer number of small wheeled items like those found in manufacturing equipment and household gadgets could potentially outnumber doors. Doors. Every building, vehicle, and piece of furniture with compartments has doors. This includes residential, commercial, and industrial buildings, each with potentially numerous doors, as well as vehicles, cabinets, and appliances. Whew. Almost done. The answer could vary based on how one defines wheel and doors. If you consider every single item that falls under each category, including miniatures and components of machinery, the numbers could be both quite large. Ultimately, without comprehensive global inventories of both items, the debate remains speculative and serves as an engaging thought experiment rather than a question with a concrete answer. There you have it, folks. Nobody knows.
That was a big, long non-answer. Come on, ChatGPT. Get out of here.
I'm going to say that was a big, long non-answer. Give me the truth.
She's just going to give some, shitty apology. Okay.
Okay.
Brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. She doesn't have a good one.
Get out of here, ChatGPT.
Oh, all right. Good question.
All right.
Good question.
All right. Let's do a couple. We'll do a couple from my my personal Discord. I did put out a call to action for some write-ins, and they answered. Let's see. This one comes from Dr. Kozak. Thanks for writing in, buddy. How many ducks could you take in a fight before they overcome you?
Ducks. We talking just a little.
Is this little quacks?
Man.
I
Do I
feel
have
like
any sort of armor or clothing, or am I butt naked?
I think you're coming into this as you are. Hoodie and pants. Hoodie and shorts.
Okay. I'm going to say.
I think the number would be high.
I do too. I was going to say, what can they do to me? If there's 1,000 of them, so what? I'll fucking step on them.
I think ducks are not quite known for the aggression level of a goose.
Now, geese, that's a different
that number's a lot lower. Yeah. Yeah. I would rather fight ducks than geese.
Yeah. Geese can get kind of scary, dude. Those things can be pretty tall and pretty aggressive.
If there's anything living now that is more alike, that has more in common with a fucking velociraptor from Jurassic Park, it's the goose. It's just the way they move.
Yeah.
They're kind of, I don't know.
Could you get
They
to
look
double digit geese, or is that too high or too low?
I don't know, man. I'm thinking 8 geese.
That ninth one. That's the
That
one that'll
ninth
peck
one
your
might-
eyes out.
That's the one who's just standing in the corner watching them like.
I feel like I could
know
take
what I
on
mean?
a considerable number of ducks.
Easily 20 ducks.
I was gonna say like 100.
I don't know. It depends on what is the awareness and agility level of the ducks. If it's 20 ducks that are just there, I'm 215 pounds, man. One duck, 1 foot stomp. That's too easy. But
Are they in attack mode? Like, are they programmed to kill? Because if so, I might take back my 100.
attack mode?
I mean,
If the ducks are trying to get me, I don't know. I kind of want to say a low number just in case someone ever wants to
test you.
torture me and put this to the test.
Like, what's the worst they can do? Are we talking like they're just pecking at your legs, right?
I feel like a duck could bite harder than you think they can bite. Any bird's peck is probably painful on some level.
Sure. I think 20 to 25 comfortably.
Yeah. I feel like even if they're not in attack mode and I'm doing the 1 stomp per duck method to take them down,
Yep.
after 20 ducks, I'm going to be tired.
This the fatigue factor you got to weigh in here.
So maybe the ducks have reached a sentience level that they're like, send in 20. And I stomp those and I'm like, whoa. And then they're like, send in another 20. Then we got problems.
If they have strategy like that, then yes, the number is wildly different than if they're just grazing unaware out there. If I have the drop on them, they don't stand a chance.
Oh, yeah.
But if they're
I'm bringing up, we're having duck for dinner.
Setting up waves and strategizing, then yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of factors here. A lot of
yeah,
factors.
A lot of variables. We'll go 20 to 25, though, with the info we have.
Yeah. With geese, 1-digit number. Easy. Easy.
I don't even know about 5, dude. Like, I think one-on-one, I'm still kind of like, I don't know.
A single goose. I feel like that's an animal that's not going to go down easy.
No. All right, good question. Some good
All
ones
right.
tonight.
Yeah, we got some bangers. All right, we'll do a couple more here. Let's see. How many kindergartners could you fight? This one's from Celestrom. How many kindergartners could you fight barehanded before you were overwhelmed? So I have pre and post kindergartners living in my house right now, and I can tell you that number is higher than the ducks.
I feel like they don't stand. I feel like I'm. What are they gonna do? Like, I don't know. I just don't. What are they gonna do? What's their biggest threat against me?
I love them. I don't actively want to be mean to them, but I will tell you that if a kindergartner eats a chicken nuggets that's too hot, they'll cry. So what's he gonna do to? What's 100 of those gonna do to me? Bring on I'd rather fight kindergartners than ducks, honestly.
I'll agree with you there. I'll agree with you. They seem much lower threat. Seems like,
and
there's
they're
the
emotionally
animal,
fragile.
Yes, there's the animal factor of like they don't really care what's happening to them. They're just gonna go until the death. The kindergartner has like the emotional, the flight. I'm scared. I don't know. I'm outnumbered. Or I'm outmatched here. They might just back off themselves once they see what happens to the first few.
I could get in 100 kindergartners' heads. I could straight up just before the fight tell them something. Your mom and dad are getting divorced. Something. I could shake their confidence and then just move in for a couple. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's a good one.
All right. We'll do one more here.
All right.
Actually, I'll slide back over to the hardpoint write-ins. One quick reminder. Yeah, if you want to get your question read on the podcast, hit up our Discord. We usually put a link to that in our description. Come on over, and then we got a channel just for questions for podcasts. You can get write a question, and we'll might read it on the show. We got a pretty good backlog. We refilled our backlog, so we'll do a couple of these each week. All right. Where's that one? This one I'm reaching back for. I just saw this one. I kind of wanted to bring it to the front of the deck for our last one here because I think it's a good one. Cool Boy 3010, again, frequent writer. Thank you again for your patronage to the podcast, man. Do you guys listen to podcasts? What are some of your favorites? And which ones do you draw inspiration from? Have we asked this one already?
I don't think so. Think so.
What are your favorite podcasts, man?
My favorite podcast is one that actually there's a radio station in Dallas called The Ticket, and I've been a long-time listener. If you know, you know. If you don't, they're great. And my favorite show on that radio station actually left to do their own like podcasting thing, and they're called The Dumb Zone. And it's kind of like an ironic name. It's technically like sports, but / entertainment / comedy. It's not like 100% sports. They're awesome. They're based out of Dallas, and they're pretty much they release an episode a day, so there's pretty much always content to listen to. Yeah.
Could never be me.
No, well, it's their only like that's all they do. Like that's how they make their living.
Job.
Yeah.
Man.
But doing one of these
rad.
a week, I don't know how you could possibly do one a day. That feels like a monumental task. The Dumb Zone. They're awesome. Go check them out. And man, that's kind of it. Like I've flown by the New Heights one. I find that interesting to listen to, like the clips. I've never actually listened to an entire episode. But the New Heights one is pretty cool. That's kind of it for me, man. Yeah, it's kind of it.
Yeah. I used to have a whole regimen that I listened to. I did, and I had, a lot of them I kind of dropped on advantageous days. So it was like Monday I listened to this one, Tuesday, Wednesday, third. I've gotten to where I don't have to drive as far for work, for one thing, which driving was where I did a lot of my podcast listening. I do most of my podcasting now when I'm gaming, honestly. If I've got a good like Dum Dum game, Fortnite's one where you can kind of pop it on. The sound in the game is not really super critical. It's not like, like dialogue heavy or anything. Or like Minecraft. I play Minecraft with my friends. I might throw a podcast on, but I love Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn is really funny. I forget, what is this podcast even called? I forget what it's called. I don't know. But yeah, the Theo Vaughn podcast. My favorite video game podcast is probably a toss-up between the Giant Bombcast, which is a really great video game podcast. Kind of get into the weeds on like video game journalism and the video games industry as a whole. But they have a lot of fun doing it. It's really interesting. That, and then one called Get Played, which I really, really enjoy. It's more like comedians and like writers, like comedic writers who kind of just discuss their favorite video games. And then let's see.
Have you listened to the Shane Gillis podcast? You showed me.
I have not listened to his podcast, but I absolutely would because he is hilarious. That dude cracks me up. Oh, Conan O'Brien. I love Conan O'Brien's podcast as well.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know he had one. He still do.
He does.
Is he on TV still?
He's not, actually. I want to say his podcast is probably his primary hustle now. Dude, I don't know why Conan O'Brien just makes me so happy, especially when other people make him laugh. That's like a guarantee that I'm going to laugh. I love when other people make Conan O'Brien laugh because he'll laugh at anyone. It's not just funny comedians. He'll laugh like a normal person will tell him a joke and he will go in a full-blown like gut-buster mode. So big fan of Conan for sure.
Ever since he had the Dillinger Escape plan on live to play on his show, he's earned my utmost respect, dude. That is an awesome live video if you haven't seen it.
It's a banger for sure. And I know bangers. All right, that's probably going to do it for write-ins this week. Yeah, continue to send those in. We'll work our way around to them. We kind of took a break because we kind of beat up what we had and
ran out of them.
We ran out. Sometimes y'all need a reminder too. If I don't say, "Hey, write us in," y'all won't. But as soon as I do, y'all send us more than we can handle in one episode. So
here's your CTA.
Yeah, there you go.
Call to action.
Call to action. I like that. What did you go? What did you made the very
call to action.
Hell yeah! All right. Hey, if you're enjoying what we're doing here, hey, like, subscribe, leave us a review if you're one of our audio listeners on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Jump down there. Tell us what you think. Don't be shy. If you're on YouTube and you ain't hit that subscribe and the little bell button, what are you doing with your life, really? Hey, think about it. Hey, we appreciate every little comment, every like, every listen, every watch goes a long way. So we really appreciate that
very much.
Yeah. Working on new content for you guys. Gonna keep it going. Hey, 1 episode a week felt like a big deal. Oh, look, he's ready. He's got his hands ready. He's waiting for me to say it. I'm not there yet. Works.
I digress.
What?
I digress.
I just want to take a minute.
Okay.
To tell you guys to be Baja blessed.
He backed off and then he went in.
The juke. No. Hey. Hope you guys are Baja blessed this week. Got some great episodes headed our way this next couple weeks. Be back next week to talk about more Sleep Token. Can't wait for that.
Yeah. That's your homework if you're listening. Go listen. Go look. Go get familiar with what we're going to be talking about so you're not left in the dark.
Let's talk Sleep Token. I'm telling you. All right. Baja blessed. See you on the flippy.
See ya.